Hello and welcome. I'm Dawn Cheney. As a Reiki master and transformational counselor, I tend to look at healing from a different perspective. Healing is the restoration and balancing of the body. And to me, that encompasses the entire being, which is you on a level of physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. And it would also encompass using both traditional medicine and alternative medicine alternatives for accomplishing that healing. Creating a healthy diet is an absolute fundamental issue for you in your health. And if you can incorporate any kind of type of exercise, such as walking, running, that also sustains to a healthier lifestyle, restoring and balancing you on a health. As a bonus, an occasional Reiki session helps to release heavy energy in your body and increase circulation. It also gives you a boosting energy. It also gives you a boost of energy to help your tissues and organs regain strength and to build your immune system. To explain one of these alternative modalities, I have here with me today Dr. Mary Lucero. She's a system biologist who has a history of chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, and allergies to a point where they were debilitating her. It literally interfered with her career and her personal success. She decided that she needed to take her health back into her own hands. And in so doing, through her research and her own knowledge, she found that she could reverse her illness. At the same time, she discovered a powerful new modality for coping with chronic illnesses, and this she calls microbiome restoration. Dr. Lucero, as an environmental scientist, what prompted you to take your knowledge into the physical issues that we have?
That I was dealing with? Okay, well, Dawn, it was something that evolved over a number of years. I guess you could say I had been progressing along 2 courses for some time. Professionally, I was really working at the cutting edge of microbiome research. So even in the 1990s, we knew that maybe about 2% of the microbes in the environment had been studied. Most of them were unknown. But our technologies were improving at a very fast rate, and we were slowly unveiling more and more about what these microbes could do. And those of us in microbial ecology were quickly beginning to realize that microorganisms that interact with our cells carry out all the functions that we use chemicals to catalyze in our health. So I was working in environmental systems. We were looking at what happened to plant health when you restored microorganisms to the soil or even directly to the plant. We have a technique for transferring microbes from one plant to another. Okay. And we saw these dramatic improvements. And all this time, I'm feeling terrible. I've been sick as long as I can remember. I was born sick, and I've always struggled with chronic symptoms. And when I would see these plant communities improve or respond to the microorganisms, I often wondered, golly, what would the right microbes do for me? Mm-hmm. And so I think in 2010, we published a paper demonstrating that literally dozens of microorganisms could be detected in isolated plant cells that had been cultured separately from the environment. This was kind of a big deal for people in the field. We've been saying for years that these are free of microbes when they're handled in that fashion. And we were finding dozens of them. And this convinced us that probably all cells are associated with complex communities of microorganisms that support their health. So we write this up, and we had an illustration drawn for a journal article we were preparing. Mm-hmm. And this illustration shows what the plant, how the plant functions when the microbes are present, and how the plant functions when the microbes are gone. And I sat there looking at this picture, and we were showing that all the nutrients basically don't cycle within the system. Nutrients are lost from the system when you take away the microbes. And I thought of all the years I had been trying to eat right by going to the grocery store and buying the fresh produce from the whole food aisles and not seeing results. And I looked at that and I thought, oh my gosh, there are no nutrients left in our food system
Right.
because of the way we're growing our food. And so I think that was the turning point for me. That was when I recognized that if I want to see results, I really need to start eating more organic, local foods. We don't have a lot, so I had to change my lifestyle. I had to start growing more food at home. And the other thing that I really had to do is get off medications, because every medication I was taking had some properties that were toxic to microbes. And so I started finding natural alternatives for, I had already been looking for natural alternatives over the years because I always had side effects with medication. But now I made a conscious effort to get off every medication I was taking and started thinking about the chemicals that I used to wash my hair, to clean myself, chemicals we were using in the house, and really started replacing everything with natural products and started seeing reversals. And my health had been declining steadily for 30 years. And so when I started seeing things turn around, having more energy, being able to concentrate and work for longer periods of time, I was pretty excited about it.
I would be too, yeah. So are there any particular helpful hints that you can give people as far as looking for products, particular chemicals that they might want to make sure things don't have?
You know, I think the biggest take-home message is to learn how to read the label and recognize when something is a chemical as opposed to when something is a natural product. And this can be difficult because labeling
Yes, it can.
labeling often doesn't support that, and most of us aren't chemists, but a lot of the chemicals that go into food products end in ate, sodium ascorbate,
ATE.
monosodium glutamate, these kinds
Okay.
of things. Natural products are often either names you recognize, like this came from corn. Well, most of us know that corn is a plant and somewhat natural product. Or they're named, or they're given Latin names, and we'll see this a lot with probiotics. They'll be given lactobacillus such and such.
Right.
And these Latin names are a binomial system. There's two words there, a genus and a species.
Okay.
And so if you see that binomial Latin-looking name, that's probably something that came from a living system.
More natural, at least.
Right.
We stand a chance.
Right.
Okay.
So that's a very broad overview,
Oh,
but
that's
certainly
excellent.
it's
Yeah, thank you very
it
much.
starts to help you think about the difference between what's a chemical and what's a natural product on the
Yeah.
ingredient label.
Okay. Well, thank you, Dr. Lucero, for joining me today and sharing your remarkable discoveries and your recovery journey. Thank you. And some tips for everyone on how to read labels better. Thank you.
Thank you.
And creating a healthier diet and eating habits is absolutely fundamental for all of us for health restoration and balancing. And if you can throw in a little bit of exercise there, say a walk or run or Tai Chi, something like that, that even is better for helping our health. And as a bonus, an occasional Reiki session to help increase circulation and release that heavy energy in your muscles and body and the organs. That always is very helpful. And of course, the energy itself will boost your immune system and help to restore your tissues and organs. So thank you for joining me here. If you would like to learn more about restoring microbiomes, you can visit Dr. Lucero's website at www.endofite.com. The link will be below this video on my website. there'll be some downloaded pages as well. And again, thank you very much for joining us. And thank you, Dr. Lucero.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
Thank you.